So what's going on, guys? How you guys doing this morning? Just thought I'd take you for a ride in neighborhood, you know, check out some places and stuff. This is the other side of my street when you cross over the road. So I'll get back here and show you some cool houses and some cool garages for sure. This is a city of garages is what I like to call it. Everybody has one. There's always a little garage behind the house. And it's sort of cool, you know, see people into the same thing that you're into. And yeah, so I don't get down this road very often, and I came down it with Andrew the other day, and it's just a cool little road. So I figured I'd give you a quick trip. We're driving the old Silverado. That's a cool house there. And there's a lot of cool houses on this road. But anywho, we looked at a bunch of houses over on this side, but just never could find anything. Everything was foreclosure and nothing passed the inspection. So yeah, it makes it hard to buy a house when they won't pass the inspection. And that's a lot of the problem down here, you know, with buying a house. Unless you have cash, finding something that's in good enough shape that they'll finance, you know. We looked at several of these. I'll show you a couple that were foreclosures and really good deals, but unless you got cash money. We looked at this one, there were 7 offers on it, and it's still sitting here empty. So that's funny. I find that funny. And then we're gonna look at this one. That's a new one that's for sale now. Well, that's pretty nice. Got a pool, nice yard, and did look at this one here. Right on the road. Thought it might be a little too close for the dogs, so we passed on that one. And we looked at that one. That was a nice one there. It was an old house. And this one here, 1760. That was a cool house. But you know, some of these houses are in pretty bad shape, you know, whether it's old people that have passed on and you know, lack of maintenance or whatever have you. But house has to be in pretty good shape to pass the building inspection and to be able to be financed. And that's the biggest problem with most of these properties around here. You know, people that can't afford to pay their mortgage aren't gonna do home repairs. So most of these properties have been neglected for a good amount of time now. But anyway, this is Glenwood back in here, and it's a pretty cool little neighborhood. And it's well off the beaten path. It looks populated, but this is well out in the country, way out of the way. There's old Bug back there, 66 Beetle. That looked pretty cool. I know, I break for Beetles. So I saw a couple videos. Saw G and Call's video this morning. Saw Matt, Slow SRT, Shut Your Face Garage. I like that house too. But yeah, so the truck looked pretty good. The firewall, that's really nice. And there's one of the post offices I send your stuff from. Little post office there. And I'll show you this house up here that I tried to buy. And this house has just been sitting empty for, going on a good 6 years now. Apparently the family that lived in it went on vacation somewhere, and they all passed away, and just tied up in limbo. So but it's a cool house. So anyway, I did watch a couple videos this morning, and it was good to see some up there, you know. Been not too many videos. I saw a video from Jeff, our buddy from Photo Finish, and on his garage project. It's always good to see a video from Jeff, and hopefully he'll start making some more videos, because I miss seeing his videos for sure. He's a big part of the garage for sure. And some of you guys that have stopped making videos for whatever reasons, it would be cool if you could make some videos and whatever, you know, put them up. So this is the road this house is on. It's a dead-end street, and the house is at the very end of the street. And I tried for 2 years to buy this place, and nobody knows basically anything about it. It's a mystery house. Taxes haven't been paid on it, but yet the property is paid off, and the county hasn't put any liens or judgments on it yet. And it's just not on the plats. You know, you can't find it. It's not recorded property, but it definitely exists. And be curious to see if anybody's done anything with it. It's been about a year since I've been back here, and yeah, I don't like driving back here because it's a little street, you know, and if somebody's living back here, it won't be good, but I doubt that somebody's moved into it. But maybe, hopefully somebody's done something, but nope, I can see that it's still sitting. And this is one killer property, guys. It goes, you know, in the woods there. Look at this, what a shame, guys. This is a beautiful house. It's got a Florida porch all the way around the house, and the yard's just totally overgrown. Look at the shops back there. You can see that one building back there with the door open, and there's another one. It's got a pool. It's just a beautiful house, man. Metal roof, all open in the center. Nice fireplace. Beautiful oak trees on this property, and just can get no information on this house at all. And it's a property that I'm definitely interested in buying. You know, I'd like to buy this place for sure, and you know, I think it would just be an awesome place for sure, with those shops and the high ceilings. And there's a building behind these buildings in the back. It's about 40 by 25. It's a smaller building though, lower roof. But here's some more examples of the garages. But yeah, I thought I'd show you that house. That's one that we've been trying to buy for a while, and with no luck. A lot of properties like that in Florida, you know. The real estate laws are sort of funny here, and when you die without a will, it's funny things can happen to your stuff. And that's an example right there of a house that's been sitting on the market, well, not on the market, for 5 years. And you wonder, you know, what's going to be left of that place when they decide to put it on the market. It's going to sell pretty reasonably because it's going to be a cash deal for sure. I don't think that would pass any kind of inspection, and it's going to take quite the crew to get the yard cleaned up, but I'd be willing to try. You know, if I could get that place, that'd be really cool. It's definitely back off the beaten path. I don't think you'd have any problems, you know, with people messing with you as far as working on stuff back here. Just we don't get a whole lot of that, you know. The only problem I've ever had has come from somebody watching on YouTube called on me, you know. So most people in this town are really into cars. It's a big car town, and a lot of people work on their stuff. So yeah, there is a nut farm right here. Crazy house. And this lady's crazy pulling out in front of this truck. But whatever you want to do. So anyway, there's a little more bike path over here. You know, it's a nice little neighborhood in here. Gets a little up in the money back in here. But you can find the stuff right back in here and get you a nice piece of property with a nice building. There we go. Somebody's building them a shop or a lean-to or something there. Another abandoned property. Another big ass barn. So yeah, I saw Gary's video this weekend. It's pretty cool. Everybody seemed to be getting mail, and that's cool. Stickers are flying. Derek left me a message on his truck, and I made that video, Derek. You know, check that out. Chances are maybe you just didn't get it buffed enough, and maybe you went to the glazing process a little too soon. I don't know exactly what you did. But I would try buffing it for sure first, you know. Chances are, you know, that's just didn't get buffed enough there, or maybe you glazed it or whatever. Try to rebuff it, start your buffing process over on the doors, and see what that does for you. If it continues to die down on the doors, you know, you need to think about what you did different on the door compared to the rest of the truck, whether you sanded the primer more, or There's less coats of primer on the door than there is the rest of the truck. I noticed a lot of guys in the garage will do their final block sand, and they'll block with 180, then they'll block with 400, then they'll block with 6. And the only problem with doing it that way is that there's not a lot of film build and primer left on the car, and the primer is what gives you the holdout for your shine. Now the problem you're having is more than likely, you just didn't get it buffed enough. The dieback comes over, a year period or a 6-month period. You'll start noticing that your paint job just doesn't look as crisp as it used to, and you have to constantly buff it and maintenance it. That's usually what you get with the cheaper paints. You don't get the holdout. But what I was getting back to on the primer is if you do all 3 processes like that, if you if you sand it with 180, then you block it with 400, then you block it with 600, you don't have a whole lot of film build left as far as primer is concerned. And when you leave your primer thin like that, with no build, with no mils, mils per coat, we got to remember how many mils per coat and how many mils it takes to give us protection. We know with the edge primer it takes, this is another one of our customers here, got a nice little shop at his house, a couple lifts, and he builds Firebirds, guys. I'll try to get over there one day. He built some really nice cars. But anyway, we know with the edge primer that we need 0.8 mils at least to get our corrosion protection. That's what they want for proper corrosion protection. And every product that we sell has a mil thickness that they're looking for ideal protection. And that's the same with primer. And when you try to do all 3 steps with a one primer coat, I found that you leave yourself open for dieback, because you got very little protection on the car as far as primer goes, and that's what gives you the holdout. So I always like to do a reprime. If I'm going to 180 something and block it, I like to reprime it after the 180 block, and then do my 400 or 6 from there. And you end up with a little more mils of primer on the car. And if you don't want to do that, you can use a good sealer instead of repriming. But you got to put something on the car, so you don't get that dieback happening with the paint. And basically it's just soaking in. There's not a good shell underneath the paint, which you need. So hopefully that helps you out. I don't know if it does or not. You can always call me on the phone, we can talk. But I'd hit it with the buffer again and try that first for sure, and go from there. And then I watched HPR's videos. I'm glad he enjoyed the buffing video I made. It's always cool when the peers in the garage, appreciate my work. You don't get recognized on every video for sure by the guys that you look up to, and HPR is one of those guys. I like his work and like his videos. I like what he's doing there, so it's always good to hear from him and see comments from HPR. So yeah, with that being said, probably shaking you guys to death here. I'm going to turn around because I saw a car for sale. It looked like a good one to me, and we're going to go back and maybe get an address and check it out. There's a little truck right there, and this is how you find stuff riding around in the country, and you never know what you can find. Sometimes you find cars for a good deal. People don't advertise back here. Sometimes they'll just put it on the side of their house and get another car, and you can get some good stuff that way. So now we're in DeLeon Springs. We worked our way back. We're gonna go ahead and I'll go around the block here. Another garage. It's in the middle of nowhere. I found a nice little Camry sitting back there, a late model, and those things are known for blowing up the motors because people don't change their oil in them. We sort of talked about that a little bit, and I saw a lot of that at Toyota with the little 4 cylinders. A lot of what do you call that? Sludge motors. The V6s were the worst about it, but the 4 cylinders would do the same thing, because people listen to the recommended service intervals. And if you ever have a sludge problem with your car and it's a new car, you got to ask yourself, why did I have that problem? If you followed the maintenance schedule, and we had customers all the time that were regular customers, and you'd see their car in there, you know. And we had a guy that could do 2 of those motors a day, 2 V6s. And they basically pull it apart in the car. The crank stays in the car, but they pull the pistons out, decarbon the pistons, clean the ring landings and such, and decarbon the top of the motor. And you know, that guy would get like, I forget what the hours paid, but it wasn't bad money. He was one of the better paid guys in the shop, you know. So yeah, and that was an everyday thing, you know. He'd be doing those things. So I used to love it when the oil companies and stuff would do little when they changed the synthetic and their oil changes. We basically, you couldn't get regular oil at the dealership anymore. It was all synthetic, and they basically had a little cookies and milk video thing, you know, about how great synthetic oil was and such. And when I started questioning the guy that was doing the little presentation, he didn't have any answers. He was just there to give his presentation and really didn't know shit about oil. And never really saw anything good when they changed over. And saw a lot of sludge motors though at the dealership. So I can tell you that every 5,000 miles is really it's a pipe dream, and it's only good for the manufacturer that's giving you the free oil change, because every 3,000 miles is stretching it, you know. If you're a real car nut guy, I know a lot of guys won't go 3,000 miles, you know. They'll change more often, and those are the guys that their cars are, you know, perfect. And it's oil doesn't go bad, you know. A lot of the time the problem with oil is the dirt, and just because we put synthetic oil in our car, you know, we don't ever usually upgrade the filtering system in our car at the same time. So we have the same filtering ability that we did with the 3,000 mile oil, and now we're stretching our intervals from 3,000 to 5,000 to 10,000, and the oil gets dirty, guys, and you can't clean the oil. A lot of guys try to change the filters and stuff, and they buy better filters, but you know, unless you got a toilet paper filter or something that's trapping the microns down. Look at this little Camry back here, guys. No tag on it, just sitting there. So we'll get Andrew to come by here for sure, knock on the door, do a little knock on the door, see what's up with that one. And there's a nice boat sitting there too, so we'll check on those for sure. And so you can come by and say hi to our customer at the same time. The guy's got no legs, guys, and he still makes it happen every day. He's got his shop set up where he can work, but he had some sort of industrial accident and lost both his legs. Mud Lake Road, probably paddling on. Probably should turn this off and get back to the house. We'll do some cleaning up, and then I'll turn the camera on. Sort of embarrassed, the shop's just filthy. I got it all blown apart right now, trying to get organized and get some stuff going. I can't get anything done because my whole shop is in chaos, and usually when I have chaos like that, nothing good comes from it. So I like to try to get organized and get my stuff laid out. And I've been trying to accumulate some parts for these motors, and I got some stuff back from the machine shop, so we're going to get back on the motor stuff. And I know there's some guys in the garage that are personally waiting, and I am working on your stuff. And a lot of the time motor work is a lot like paint work, you know. It's 90% prep, and it's getting the stuff together, getting the right pieces that match, and sourcing all our parts. Look at this place here, all overgrown, another foreclosure. I just can't believe these houses, dude. I don't understand it, you know. I don't understand the whole lack of jobs and no money thing going on right now. But yeah, you know, I used to sort of wonder where the money came from when I was making the killer money, you know. I didn't really understand that concept either, but I was listening to a show the other day. It was a talk show, and they were talking about, you know, the history of the United States and our economy, you know, and our economic system. And as a whole, you know, we had some real good prosperity there in the 80s and the 90s. We saw a lot of growth and a lot of stuff our parents never got to see. You know, when I was growing up, my stepfather was a little older, and you know, he'd tell stories about soup lines and the Great Depression and when he was a kid, and you know, it was hard to fathom. You know, it was hard to imagine times being that bad. And as I look around today with all the for rent signs and the foreclosures and stuff, I'm wondering if that's where we're heading back to. You know, if it was just you know, an experiment gone wrong now. So you never know. There's a lot higher powers with the economy, you know, and you know, you just always wonder if it's going to turn around, or if we've seen the best. But you know, some things really need to change, and prices need to get back in line with the income that people are making and all that good stuff. But until they adjust the cost of living, I think we're going to see more and more spiraling down. You know, it's just hard to live now on what you make and for what it costs. So, you know, I can easily, with 3 kids, you know, and a wife, you know, it's no problem for me to spend $100, $200 a day, you know, just to survive. And it's just I can't comprehend it. You know, I used to make $200 a week when I first started, and I could live off that money all week and do pretty good. You know, go to a race or two, buy some parts for my car, and eat out. And you know, seems like the pay hasn't gone up and the cost of living has. So sort of scary times right now if you got kids, and that's why a lot of you guys in the garage that are got kids graduating and you know, got kids getting jobs and stuff, that impresses me more than the cool paint jobs. It's not easy being a parent, and some of you guys out there do good jobs. You know who you are. And I saw HO Motorsports video yesterday, and he was pretty upset with what he saw on the school bus. They had those kids that were bullying the bus monitor, you know, the older lady. And that's something that just would have never happened when I was a kid. You didn't disrespect older people, and if you did, they'd slap the shit out of you. And you know, as bad as that sounds, I think that's what's missing in this world, is the discipline. There's no recourse, there's no nothing. You know, you can't do anything. Kids act like that because they know that there's no repercussions. And you know, I'm sort of in the same boat as Anthony. You know, if my kid acted like that, he wouldn't need to put the video up, because I'd be in jail for beating him down for sure, because that's how it is. I think you should respect older people. You know, I've said it before, they're what made this country what it is, you know, and we're sort of what made it what it is now. So, you know, without those old people that made the good times, you know, we wouldn't have had any good times. And you know, those are the people that lived through the shittiest of times and the Depression and all that good stuff that we hear stories about, and they should be treated with respect, not poked at and cussed at and stuff like that. So yeah, it is sad to see that stuff, but in the same token, you know, you look around in the garage and there's some good kids in there. You got Matt and his dad over there working on their project, and of course, you know, you got Anthony, you got your son there, the little guy. I think it's what you put in is what you get out. You know, there's another killer house I like, but I think parents just don't have time for their kids, you know, and they don't spend any time with them, and that's what you get. Because, you know, if you can't discipline them, you gotta have their respect, and the only way you get that is, you know, with a relationship with them. So I don't know, worry about Hans sometimes. He's got other influences besides me, and I think, you know, they're steering him the right way. He got his first job, you know, he's actually officially working at the, what is that, the Nope or the Noe track out there in New Orleans. You know, he called for his social security number, and it's his first official job, so that's pretty cool, you know. And so there are good kids out there for sure, and I think it's, you know, more the parents than the kids. And you know, I don't know what to say about that video, other than, you know, it seems like, you know, they do stuff about everything now, and to not be able to do anything about that just doesn't seem, you know, seem right. There's a Mustang sitting over there. Another one to go knock on. You just find cars like that everywhere around here. There's another house with the shit growing up around it with a 6-car garage over there. So yeah, don't get discouraged when you see stuff like that, because you know there are good kids out there, and you have one of them. So you know, it's definitely the sign of the times, though. And you know, some of those kids probably got sorry parents, and you know, there's good people. I don't care when you grow up, there's good and bad people in any generation. And I'd like to think that those kids aren't our future, you know, that there were some other kids on that bus, you know, that might have been our future, that just were sitting back. But, you know, and it's hard to get involved, too, because you get in trouble for that, you know. I remember when I was a kid, you know, we'd get involved and you could do things and you could say things. And I can remember very clearly that every fight I ever got in school was over somebody calling my mom a name or something stupid, you know. But I can remember being a pretty young kid. I was about, probably this is where Ronnie Hope works here. It's a big scrapyard. I remember being a young kid, first moving to Orlando, moved up from Miami, and my mom knew that we had to make a change because I was in a gang and causing all kinds of trouble, running the streets of Miami, and you know, being a bad kid with no dad and, you know, all the good stuff. And my mom got remarried and we moved to Orlando, and I moved to Okeechobee for the first year so my mom and her new husband could get, you know, used to each other, is what he called it. He didn't want any kids around, so I had to stay with my grandparents for a year. And I remember when I came to Orlando, we went to a movie, and the guy behind me said something to my mom, and I turned around and punched him so hard that he just keeled over right in the line. And you know, nothing pissed me off more than somebody saying something about my mother. So you know, even though I was a pretty bad kid, it turned out okay. So there's always, you know, a chance for people to turn it around. But yeah, you just didn't disrespect your parents or other people's parents, or, you know, elderly people. And you see a lot of that now. There's no respect for anybody. So, but anyway, I know a lot of the guys in the garage aren't like that, and you know, that's why we all get along, because a lot of us think alike, and a lot of the same stuff bothers us. So it's funny how that works, and you know, how a bunch of gearheads can get together and have a lot of common interest with other stuff. So it's not only the cars that keep us together, guys. Remember that when you make the videos, sometimes, you know, it's not about the project at all. Sometimes it's about seeing the person behind the camera. So you guys out there, have a good day. I'll try to turn this back on. We'll get this uploaded for you. And you know, I know some of you guys don't like the driving videos, but a lot of you guys do. And it's my video, so you know, what are we gonna do? I'll make you something a little later with some car action in it. Got rid of another cat last night, so we're down to 3 cats, mama cat and the 2 kittens. And I think I'll probably keep the 2 kittens that are left. I got a little boy and a little girl, a black one and the gray one. And then the mama cat, we'll get them fixed and spayed and all that good stuff. And everything will be good. We had a policeman there. I didn't want to be camera shotting them there. Sometimes they don't like to get on the camera, you know. But so we made the loop in the truck. We're almost out of gas, you know. 10-minute video, 15-minute video, and this takes a quarter of a tank. And I don't know how Andrea's been driving this truck for so long, paying for the gas, but I'm glad she's finally off the Kool-Aid and she's driving the little Hyundai now, and seems to be happy in it. Happy passing the gas stations anyway, and still got her truck on the weekends for when she's home. So yeah, guys, thanks for all the good wishes for the test there. Hopefully she'll pass that, because that's a biggie, man, getting that done, and that'll give us the ability to catch up and you know, get back on top of things. Not that it's that bad now, but I mean, it could be, you know, if it stays like it is. So we have to do something. So that's the career change plan, is the real estate thing, and I give her all the kudos in the world, because there's a lot to learn with that. It's a lot of stuff, man, and it's more than I could put in my little head. I can guarantee you that. I'd have to get rid of everything that was in there, and you know, then try to learn new stuff over. And I've already done that once, you know, sort of had my memory wiped out. I don't remember a lot of stuff. I've had to learn a lot of new stuff, and you know, so it's been fun putting new shit in my head and getting rid of the old stuff. Of course, it wasn't by choice, but so a memory is not something to be wasted, guys. Some of you guys are in good health, and I hope that stays that way. But a head injury is a terrible thing, you know. You lose a lot of memories, and you lose a lot of growing up, you know. I get flashbacks every now and then, or I see something that reminds me of something, and it's sort of weird. So yeah, we were talking about it yesterday, me and Andrea, and it's some scary shit coming up with the doctors and all that good stuff. So I was a little freaked out the other day, and letting my mind get the best of me. And so that's what the videos do for me. They keep my mind open, keep me not thinking about what's coming up the road here. And so you guys make the videos, turn the camera on, do all that good stuff, be nice to each other, and we'll turn this back on in a little bit. Good Lord willing.